So hello students, so welcome to Career Power Hyderabad, so powered by Adda 247. So today we'll discuss the current affairs of 11th June 2021. So this is a 5-stage method discussion. So today we'll go into the headlines. So first headlines of today is which country's navy, okay, so recently builded the first fully stealth warship. So what is the name of the country which built their own stealth warship? So next, which state in India launched a new scheme Shishu Seva Achoni? So next, who was appointed as the CEO of Ferrari? So next, who was appointed as the Football Association first chairwoman? So this Football Association belongs to England. So who was appointed as the Football Association's first chairwoman? And the next one, who was named to lead the UN bureaucracy for a year? So these are the important appointments for today. So then we'll go into economy news. So ICAR, so Investment Credit Rating Agency, so Investment Information Credit Rating Agency, which is agency based in India. So they projected India's growth rate for the year 2021-22. So how much is the projection? We'll see in the headlines today. So next headlines. So which country topped the Bitcoin investment gains in 2020? And which city tops the Global Livability Index 2021? And which company acquired the loyalty platform company called Payback India? So you know this Payback very well, Payback you will see when you do payments with your cards. Okay, so the next one, who wins the Best Actor award at UK Asian Film Festival? So who is conferred with the Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award? And which boxer passed away? So what is the name of the boxer, Indian boxer who passed away recently? And the national award winning filmmaker, okay, so he also passed away. So who is that person? So we will see all these in news today, all the headlines today. Okay, so we'll go into the details first. So we'll go into the detailed analysis. So first news, international news. So Russian Navy builds their first fully operated stealth warship. So the stealth technology can make military assets like ships and planes harder for radar to detect. Okay, they are put offline from the radar. Radars can't detect these particular stealth technology. Okay, so that is why every world nation is trying to develop their own stealth technologies. So this is named under, project named under 20386. So the project code is 20386. So they are preparing warships which are armed with cruise missiles, anti-aircraft missiles and artilleries. So what is this cruise missile? So cruise missile is a high speed missile, a guided missile which will target terrestrial objects. Okay, so it is mainly developed for terrestrial targets. It's a guided missile which moves at low trajectories, lower altitudes with a high speed. Okay, so there are also anti-aircraft missiles in it and also artillery. So this is the features of this warship. So this naval ship is also capable of destroying submarines. It can search and it can destroy submarines. So this is the special feature of this particular submarine. Okay, so you also need to remember the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, the capital of Russia, Moscow, and the currency of Russia, ruble, Russian ruble. Okay, so please by heart these three things: Russian president, Russian capital, Russian currency. So Russian Navy recently they developed their own stealth warship. So next state news. So a new scheme was launched by Assam government called Shishu Seva Achoni. So what is this Shishu Seva Achoni? So you know COVID pandemic is like it is destroying the entire world. So in this COVID pandemic, many of the children lost both of their parents. There are many children in the country who lost both of their parents. So in order to provide some financial assistance to these children, we started this scheme called Sisu Seva. So under this scheme, government will be allocating a total amount of 7,81,200 rupees. So under this scheme, 7,81,200 rupees will be deposited in the bank as a fixed deposit. So a fixed deposit of 7,81,200 rupees will be deposited in the name of every child who lost their parents. So a child who lost their parents, on the name of every child, 7,81,200 rupees will be deposited. So from this fixed deposit, you will get a monthly income, a monthly interest. So a monthly interest of 3,500 rupees will be given to every child. So a monthly amount, a monthly financial assistance of 3,500 rupees will be given to every child until they attain 24 years. Until they attain 24 years. And at the age of 24, they can withdraw this principal amount. So at the age of 24 years, so they can withdraw this entire 7,81,200 rupees total amount. Okay. And apart from that, state government will take care the children below the age of 10 years and adolescent girls with no guardian. Okay. So children below the age of 10 years and adolescent girls without any guardian, so they will be taken care by the government. So government will provide them accommodation, food and education. Okay. So these adolescent girls will be given in institutions like Kasturiba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. So you know this Kasturiba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, so mainly meant for girls. So they are girls hostels. So government will provide accommodation, education, health, everything for these children in these particular residential schools. Okay. So these are the details of this scheme Sisu Seva Achoni. So this was launched by Assam. So Assam Chief Minister, so he was recently appointed. So Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, Assam Governor Jagdish Mukhi. So Assam Governor Jagdish Mukhi and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma. So please remember Assam Chief Minister, because of the recent election which was conducted in 2021. Assam also went for elections, and you got your new Chief Minister for Assam. He is Himanta Biswa Sharma, famously called the HBS. They call him as HBS, Himanta Biswa Sharma. Okay. So we'll go into the next news, appointments. So Ferrari, you know, the luxury sports car brand in the world. So this luxury sports car brand, okay, they appointed the new CEO, and the name of the new CEO is Benedetta Vigna. So the new CEO name is Benedetta Vigna. So Benedetta Vigna is the new CEO of Ferrari. So this Ferrari is based in Italy. This Ferrari is based in Italy. Okay. So it was established in the year 1947. So 1947 is the year of independence. So Ferrari was established in the same year. So established in the year 1947, and the founder of Ferrari is Enzo Ferrari. So the founder of Ferrari is Enzo Ferrari. Ferrari was established in 1947, and Ferrari is based, headquarters is present in Italy, Maranello City. So Maranello City, Italy. So Ferrari appoints its new CEO Benedetta Vigna. Okay. So please remember these points. So next, coming to the Football Association of England. So simply called FA, Football Association. So this FA is the governing body of football, mainly the sport of football in England. Okay, so the FA is located in England, which is formed in the year 1863. So very old body in the England, 1863. So for this association, for the first time, woman is leading this group. For the first time, woman is leading this group, and the woman is Debbie Hivath. So Debbie Hivath is the first woman chairwoman to the Football Association. So who was appointed to the Football Association, which is based in England. Okay. So they recently in 2018 they started a program called the Pursuit of Progress. So in 2018 they launched a program called the Pursuit of Progress. So the aim of this initiative, the aim of this program is to tackle discrimination and to ensure opportunities for all. The main aim of this program is to tackle discrimination and to ensure opportunities for all in the sport. So this initiative has got a lot of positive results. So you can see a lot of mixed people coming into England's football teams. So from mixed ethnic groups you will find in England football teams. So this is about the Football Association of England. So Debbie Hibbert is appointed as the Football Association's first chairwoman, and their new initiative is Pursuit of Progress. Okay. So next we will go into an important appointment which is related to an Indian. So Indian K. Nagaraj Naidu, who is an Indian Foreign Service officer and also the Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations Organization. So K. Nagaraj Naidu is named as the Chief D Cabinet. So nothing but simply a secretary. So Nagaraj Naidu is appointed as Chief D Cabinet by the recently elected President Abdullah Shahid. So Abdullah Shahid is the new UN General Assembly President. So recent election, this is a recent election which happened. So United Nations General Assembly, which is a principal organ of the United Nations organization, and every year they will have election of president, and this year president is Abdullah Shahid, who belongs to Maldives foreign minister. So he is elected as the president and he nominated K. Nagaraj from India as his secretary. So Chief D Cabinet, it's called Chief D Cabinet, like secretary. So this position is equal to Indian Prime Minister's Principal Secretary and US President's Chief of Staff. So you'll see in web series, US President Chief of Staff. So US President's Secretary is called Chief of Staff and Indian Prime Minister's Secretary is called this Principal Secretary. So likewise, Nagaraj will be Secretary, Chief D Cabinet to UN General Assembly's President Abdullah Shahid. Okay, so he is appointed for a time of 1 year. Okay, and this is the first time an Indian diplomat was given this position. So first time an Indian diplomat was given this big position. So we'll see some details about United Nations General Assembly. So United Nations General Assembly was formed in the year 1945 and today we have total 193 members. So all the United Nations members will be part of this General Assembly. So General Assembly is like a parliament of the world. So every member country, every country will be present in this United Nations General Assembly. So it is headquartered in New York, USA. So it is called the Parliament of the World. And every year you will have election among the members. So one will be elected as the president. So in 1953 itself, in the earlier years of United Nations General Assembly, Vijayalakshmi Pandit from India became president. So in 1953, Vijayalakshmi Pandit became president, the only Indian to be a president till date. So she was the only Indian to be the president of United Nations General Assembly till date. So every year they will have election, they will have their president, elected president. So a president will be elected among the members, from among the members. So this General Assembly, they generally have discussions about terrorism, discussions about security issues, about peace, about pandemics like COVID and all, and they'll come to some conclusions. All these things will happen in this assembly. It's just a parliament of the world. Okay, so please by heart, this is very, very important. K. Nagaraj Naidu, he was appointed as the secretary to the UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid. So he is a deputy permanent representative to UN. So this is for the first time an Indian diplomat is appointed to that position, higher position. So you need to remember, and also remember some points about the United Nations General Assembly. So formed in the year 1945. So at present there are total 193 members, which is headquartered in New York, and it is called the Parliament of the World. And in 1953, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, the only Indian to become the President of United Nations General Assembly. Okay, so we'll go into economy news. So Investment Information Credit Rating Agency. So this is based in Gurgaon, India itself. So which is owned by the Moody's Corporation. So you know Moody's is an international credit rating agency. So they rate countries based on their credit, how much money their amount of loan they are taking, how much amounts they are able to repay. So what is the stability, economic stability of the country. So Moody's studies about the entire world. So same way, Investment Information Credit Rating Association, which is a part of Moody's, is present in India. It's a domestic credit rating agency. So they gave the GDP estimate of 8.5%. So they estimated that in the year 2021-22, our GDP, gross domestic product, will be 8.5%. So our gross domestic product growth rate, GDP growth rate, will be 8.5%. So compared to last year, this year there will be increase of 8%, increase of 8.5%. It's like simply your progress report. So last year, 9th class, how much is your percentage? 10th class, how much is your percentage? Plus 1, plus 2. So every year you need to see improvement or depreciation, increase or decrease in your percentages. So they will estimate. These people will give a prior estimate. Okay, this year India will have this much growth rate. So ICRA, they are estimating a growth rate of 8.5%. And also they estimated gross value added to be at 7.3%. So they estimated gross value added GVA to be at 7.3%. Now what is this gross value added? So simple definition, I will give you a simple definition. Gross value added is a rupee value of the total goods and services, produced in an economy after deducting the cost of inputs and raw materials. After deducting the cost of inputs and raw materials that are gone into the production of those goods. So gross value added is a rupee value for the number of goods and services produced in an economy after deducting the cost of inputs and raw materials that have gone into the production of goods and services. A simple definition. I'll explain you in detail. So what is GDP? So GDP is total value of goods and services produced in a country in a particular time, say 1 year. So what is GDP? GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in a country. Take this is India. So in India, total value of goods and services produced in a country, within a country, in 1 year is called GDP. So GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in a country in 1 year. Okay. So now in this GDP, okay, we need to also see a new term called GVA, gross value added. So what is gross value added? The rupee value of goods and services produced. The rupee value of goods and services produced after deducting the raw materials used in it, after deducting the value of raw materials used in it. So very simple. We'll take example of paneer butter masala. In order to produce paneer butter masala, okay, so you need to have basic ingredients like paneer and masala. Okay, so paneer, masala and vegetables. So these are the raw materials purchased to make paneer butter masala. So if the cost of paneer butter masala is 100 rupees and the cost of raw materials purchased, paneer, masala and vegetables, is 60 rupees. So deduct this 60 rupees from the cost of paneer butter masala. 100 minus 60, you will get 40 rupees. This 40 rupees is the gross value added. So 40 rupees is the gross value added. So that is GVA. Okay. So GVA is gross value added. It is the rupee value of goods and services produced after deducting the raw materials used in it. So paneer butter masala is the final good, okay, which you consume in a restaurant. So the cost of paneer butter masala is 100. So in making of this paneer butter masala, we purchased paneer masala vegetables. So deduct the raw materials used in it. So the value of this raw materials is 60. So 100 minus 60, 40. So this is the gross value added. Okay, simple, very simple. Okay, just make it simple. So this is about the economy news. So we'll go into ranks and reports. So United Nations, okay, they topped the Bitcoin investment gains in 2020. So this Bitcoin investment gains, this report was prepared by Chain Analysis, a blockchain analysis company. So in Manhattan, New York, there is a company called Chain Analysis. So their main objective is to analyze the Bitcoin market, cryptocurrency market. So they are called cryptocurrencies. They are not recognized by the entire world. Only few countries have recognized them. India has not yet recognized cryptocurrencies. Okay. So Bitcoins. So Bitcoin is one type of cryptocurrency. So Chain Analysis, this group, this company, they gave a report. Okay. And they gave a report, and the report says people from United States. So United States traders, they have benefited with a profit of $4.1 billion. So this is the profit they gained in 1 year. So United States traders, they gained a profit of $4.1 billion in 1 year. This was the profit from Bitcoin transactions. So by making investments in Bitcoins, okay, they gained a profit of $4.1 billion. So next, second place was by Chinese, and they had a profit of $1.1 billion. So Chinese had a profit of $1.1 billion. So Chinese, they had a profit of $1.1 billion. And India stands at the 18th place. India stands at 18th place with a profit of 241 million. So India stands at 18th place with a profit of 241 million. Okay, so this is the report. So Bitcoin investment gains is a report published by Chain Analysis, a blockchain analysis company which is based in Manhattan, New York. So they gave a report, and the report says United States traders, they benefited the most from Bitcoin investment. So next is China, and 18th is India. So India stands at 18th place. Okay. So next is Global Livability Index. So this Global Livability Index is published by Economic Intelligence Unit. So Global Livability Index is published by Economic Intelligence Unit. So this Economic Intelligence Unit is a research and analysis wing division of Economic Group Media Company, which is based in London. So Economic Intelligence Unit is a research and analysis division of the Economist Group Media Company, which is headquartered in London and established in the year 1946. So they came up with a report called the Global Livability Index 2021. So what is this Global Livability Index 2021? Okay, so they study the cities around the world, and they will give ranking to the cities. So which city is feasible, more feasible to live? So according to this report, so first rank was achieved by Auckland. So Auckland, which is present in New Zealand, so they achieved first rank. So why they achieved first rank? You know, COVID pandemic is like troubling the entire world, but New Zealand is one of the countries which restricted COVID. New Zealand, Australia, they restricted the COVID from entering into their country. Strict lockdown rules, strict immigration rules, and they were able to maintain reduction of COVID cases in their country. So because of this, Auckland becomes the best city to stay, to live. Okay, so Auckland first place, Osaka Japan second place, Adelaide Australia third place. So first three places, first is Auckland, second is Osaka, third is Adelaide. And the worst city to live is Damascus, capital of Syria. The worst city to live is Damascus, capital of Syria. So Syrian capital Damascus is the worst performer. Auckland of New Zealand, best performer. Okay, so please by heart this, very important. So please by heart the very important things. And also this report says there is a decline of livability in many European cities. So also the report says that there is decline of livability in many European cities. Why? Because Europe was worst affected by COVID pandemic. So Europe continent was worst affected by COVID pandemic, and they lost their credibility. So these cities, they lost their credibilities. So you need to study this livability index, very important, global livability index 2021, and Auckland tops the list. Next is Osaka, third is Adelaide, worst is Damascus, Syrian capital. Next, this is published by Economist Intelligence Unit, which is a research wing of the Economist Group newspaper or media group, which is based in London. Okay. So next, business news, you know this company called Payback. If you go to Big Bazaar, Pantaloons, you will find this Payback. So Big Bazaar or Pantaloons, they will provide you a card, Payback card. Okay, and you know this company called Bharat Pay. So Bharat Pay is the mobile payment application. Okay, so merchant based mobile payments application. So Bharat Pay company, they acquired Payback India company. So Bharat Pay company, they acquired Payback India company. So Payback India is a brand loyalty platform. So Payback India is a brand loyalty platform. So what will happen in this Payback? Suppose you went to Pantaloons, you purchased some cloths, or you went to Big Bazaar, you purchased some groceries. So whenever you are purchasing some amount of goods or clothes, you will be getting some points. So those points will be stored in this Payback card. So whenever there is some certain amount like 500 points or 1000 points, you can redeem the points. You can redeem, you can deduct, you can get discount. So that is Payback. So Payback works like this. So Payback is a brand loyalty platform. So what will happen here? In Payback India, they will allow customers to earn and redeem points on payment made at partner merchant points. Simply example, take it as Pantaloons. So Payback India, they allow customers to earn and redeem points on payments made at Pantaloons. So whenever you are making a payment at Pantaloons, suppose you are making 5000 rupees payment at Pantaloons, you will get 500 points. And later on you can use that 500 points as a leverage to get discount. Okay. So this Payback brand loyalty platform will encourage people to do more purchasing. So they will have nexus, this Payback, they will have nexus with all the brands in India, so that they will give a lot of discounts to customers and they will encourage them to buy more and more. It is like making more and more purchasing. Okay. So like making more and more profits for these companies. So this Payback company is launched in 2010 by American Express and ICICI. And today they claim to have 100 million users. So today they claim to have 100 million users. Okay. So this is about Payback. So Payback is acquired by Bharat Pay, a mobile payments application, mobile payments company. So they acquired Payback India. So this is about the Payback. Okay. So next we'll go into awards, and regarding awards, so United Kingdom Asian Film Festival. So UK Asian Film Festival. So happened recently. So in this Asian UK Asian Film Festival, so from India, two people they received awards. So first one is Tilottama Shom. So Tilottama Shom, who acted in the film Rahgir the Wayfarers. So Tilottama Shom, who was one of the character played in Rahgir, so she was awarded the best actor. She was awarded the best actor, and the film director Gautam Ghosh was awarded the best director. So for this particular film, okay, two awards were achieved. So they achieved two awards. So first one is best actor by Tilottama Shom and best director by Gautam Ghosh. So Gautam Ghosh achieved best director and Tilottama achieved best actor. So this Rahgir, the Wayfarers, is a story of three strangers who live on daily wage basis, okay, who meet on a journey and they'll develop a bond. It's simply about the migrant workers, strangers who are daily wage workers who will meet on the road and they will accidentally meet and they will build up a bond when they are traveling together. So this is the story, small simple story, beautifully it was developed. So they were because of this beautiful narration and beautiful story, so in UK Asian Film Festival they they received two awards, one for best actor and one for best direction. Okay, so next award is for Rupender Singh Sudhi, the managing director of Amul. So Rupender Singh Sudhi, the managing director of Amul, who was recently elected to the board of International Dairy Federation. So who was recently elected to the board of International Dairy Federation. So he was conferred with an award called Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award. So R.S. Sudhi, Rupender Singh Sudhi, the chairman of Amul, MD of Amul, was awarded with Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award. So this award is presented by the Asian Productivity Organization. So this award is presented by the Asian Productivity Organization, which is an intergovernmental organization established in 1961, headquartered in Tokyo. So it is present in Tokyo, established in 1961, an intergovernmental organization mainly for Asia Pacific region who want to concentrate on the dairy sector. They want to develop the dairy sector mainly in Asia Pacific region. So R.S. Sudhi was awarded. So why he was awarded? So he was awarded because of the enhanced productivity and efficient milk supply chain for maintaining the productivity, enhanced productivity and for maintaining supply chain in Asia Pacific region. So Amul products, so you know that Amul is like making a turnover of nearly 40,000 crores. So last year this was the turnover, annual turnover of Amul, and Amul is the India's largest milk chain, India's largest milk company. So that is why he was awarded. So he developed Amul. So for his development of milk productivity, so he was awarded, and he was the first Indian to be awarded in the last 20 years. So R.S. Sudhi was the first Indian to be awarded in this last 20 years. Okay, so very important. So please remember about Amul's R.S. Sudhi. He was conferred with an award called the Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award. Okay, so now we'll see persons in news. So Manipur based boxer, so boxing star Dinko Singh. So he passed away recently because of liver cancer. So he was very famous for winning gold medal in 1988 Asian Games, which was conducted in Bangkok, Thailand. So he recently passed away due to liver cancer. So he is in news recently. So very sad news for Indians. We lost a important boxer, Indian boxer. So he was awarded the Arjuna Award in 1988 and Padma Shri Award in 2013. So Manipur, so he belongs to Manipur state. So Manipur state former boxing star Dinko Singh, who participated in Asian Games, and he won gold medal for India in 1988 Asian Games. Okay, we lost him recently because of his liver cancer. Okay, so next in news is about a person, important filmmaker from Bengal film industry. Okay, and he is Buddhadev Dasgupta. So national award winning Buddhadev Dasgupta, filmmaker Buddhadev Dasgupta, he recently passed away. So he won lot of national awards. There are many national awards. Okay, so he won in multiple categories: best film, best direction, best feature film in Bengali, best art film, best screenplay. So Buddhadev Dasgupta, so he is a veteran figure of the Bengali film industry, very important personality belonging to film industry. So he recently passed away. A national award winning filmmaker, he recently passed away, and he won lot of national awards in multiple categories. So these are all the news today. So we'll have a quick revision of the entire news, entire headlines, current affairs in one words, simple one-liners. So please remember these one words. Okay, so during examination it will be easy for you to remember, to by heart. So remember this particular slides. Okay, so Russian Navy is a like a country to develop their fully stealth warship. So Assam launched a new scheme called Shisu Seva Achoni. So Ferrari is appointed their new CEO Benedetto Vigna. So Debbie Hewitt is the new chairwoman of Football Association of England. So K. Nagaraj Naidu, very important, K. Nagaraj Naidu, so first Indian diplomat to be the chief D cabinet or secretary to the UN General Assembly President, UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid. Okay, so next, investment information credit rating agency, so they gave a growth rate estimate of 8.5%. So they gave a growth rate estimate of 8.5%. So next headline, next one words. So Bitcoin investment gains. So who topped the list? United States. So United States first, China second, India 18th place. So Bitcoin investment gains. So global livability index, Auckland first, Osaka second, Adelaide third, worst is Damascus. So Auckland first in global livability index. So who acquired Payback India? BharatPe. So BharatPe acquired Payback India. So next is about awards. So UK Asian Film Festival. So who won the Best Actor Award? Tilottama Shum. Best Director is Gautam Ghose. Okay. So next, who won the award? Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award? RS Sudhi. So Rupender Singh Sudhi won Asia Pacific Productivity Champion Award. So who passed away? Boxer, Indian boxer passed away, Dinko Singh. And Bengali filmmaker, National Award Bengali filmmaker who passed away was Buddhadev Dasgupta. Buddhadev Dasgupta. So these are all the current affairs for today. So we will meet in the next class. Until then, take care and bye.